Last week was Microsoft Build, which means there's a new preview of .NET MAUI with 100% more Visual Studio and 100% more Blazor, so tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James Montemagno, and today I'm back with another .NET MAUI preview, specifically Preview 4. That's right, Microsoft Build just happened, and if you missed out, well, go back and watch some awesome videos on .NET 6 and .NET MAUI and .NET MAUI Blazor as well. .NET 6 Preview 4 and .NET MAUI Preview 4 just dropped, and if you're new to the .NET MAUI situation, you can go check out some of my other videos that I have up in the .NET MAUI collection. But .NET MAUI is the next generation of cross-platform application development with .NET and C#, which means you can build applications from a single code base for iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows. And then there's .NET Blazor, .NET MAUI Blazor. What that does is enables you to use your Blazor web views inside of a .NET MAUI application, which means if you're a Blazor developer today, that is going to enable you to take your Blazor web apps and create beautiful mobile applications and light them up with native features and native UI if you desire to do so. So that's really, really cool. So let's get into it today, because today I'm going to walk through everything new in .NET MAUI Preview 4. Specifically, just going to stay on Windows today, and I'll talk through some of the differences that we have over on Mac if you're over there. So let's check it out. So the first thing is that you need to check out David's blog post announcing .NET MAUI Preview 4, because there's a beautiful new weather sample that team developed. It's called Weather 21 for, because 2021, and it's a stunning application that runs across iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac Catalyst. And you can see right here, it's really stunning. I really, really love this sample. We've built about 1 billion weather applications at this point, but this one is absolutely delightful. So a few things in here, talking about Weather 21, there's a new Microsoft.MAUI namespace that you'll see. Over here, you'll see that you'll be able to integrate into some native capabilities using the Essentials API. So for example, app actions, those will pop up accordingly on all of the different platforms. You can do notifications, you can do pop-ups, you can do all those different things there. There's some new features like the Blazor web view. This is the .NET MAUI Blazor type of action that we have here. So you can see that there's a Blazor web view, which hosts a normal page with some services, and then a Blazor web view root component, which is really cool. We'll take a look at that when we create some new projects. But on top of that, there are some other things like splash screens. So MAUI splash screen is included out of the box, enabling you to get beautiful splash screens across the different platforms. Also, you can add raw assets, just like the index.html for the .NET MAUI Blazor apps. And more importantly, I love, and what I'm going to show today is Visual Studio 16.11 Preview 1. Has support for .NET MAUI applications built right in. So I'm going to walk through some of this here and also talk about some of the hot reload and some of the things that are happening in the ecosystem, such as the Telerik UI, which is really, really cool, and Prism as well. So all sorts of amazing things. Anyways, just go read through this blog post and get started. Additionally, I'll link to some of the sessions that we have. There's an Ask the Experts panel. There's a future of modern app development, a .NET 6 deep dive, also the .NET productivity with Mika and Kendra, stunning, absolutely great. So all sorts of great stuff in here. Definitely check those out. All right, so we're going to come into our command prompt, and actually I should show you the best place to actually get started is right in the .NET MAUI repo. On the wiki, there is a getting started over here, and this shows you to install .NET MAUI, the MAUI check, the .NET MAUI check project here from John Dick, and then we'll tell you how to do everything here. So let's check this out. I'm going to come in and I'm going to say MAUI check. And when we do this, this boots up MAUI check. We've seen this before. It's going to install some new JDKs probably. Oh, it looks like there's actually a new template. So this is kind of cool. We're walking through. The team has already been updating some things there, and everything is up to date. So I did this ahead of time. And this, for me, took about 10 minutes. So based on your internet speed, it's going to install all of the preview SDK packs, workloads that you may need. And of course, it will install all those preview packs if you already have them or not. The other thing to check is that you'll want to make sure that you open up your Visual Studio installer over here and make sure that you update .NET to Visual Studio 16.11 Preview 1 to actually get this working. So that's really important. You can install Visual Studio side by side, so make sure you do that. And there's a new light mode and dark mode to that, which is also very nice. So once you have that up and running, you can do .NET new --list. And what we'll see is that inside of here now, with all the new templates, we have the Android apps that we saw earlier, a Blazor or a .NET MAUI application, so MAUI, and a .NET MAUI Blazor app, which is really cool. That creates a Blazor app, an Android, iOS, macOS, and Windows application using the Blazor web view and the native wrappers around it, which is really cool. And then you have all the other stuff that you know and love, Mac Catalyst app, iOS, tvOS, all that good stuff in there. So I could create one by, command line, but what I'm going to do is do a brand new instance of Visual Studio 2019. And I'm going to go ahead and say new project. And this will load up all of our new project templates, including the ones that were down over there in the .NET MAUI project. So here it is, .NET MAUI and .NET MAUI Blazor. Now you can type in MAUI, or there's actually a MAUI dropdown here. So if you were to go up top here to all project types, and then type in MAUI, you're going to see those two projects right there. So let's start with our .NET MAUI application. I'm going to call it MAUI App 2 over here, and let's see what we get. So this will create our project, and we've talked about it a lot. We've done a lot of things, but finally, we have the single project and all of the support built right in, which is really, really cool. Check this out. So if I zoom in over here, we'll see that we have our Android project with our resources, including some styles and colors. We have our Android manifest, iOS, our launch screen, info plist, programs, Mac Catalyst, resources, fonts, images, the .NET Bot icon in here. We have all that inside of here, which is shared 100%. Let me double tap on MAUI App 2. And what we see is that this is multi-targeting across iOS, Android, and Mac Catalyst. Now, this is also a WinUI 3 application over here. And if you go into the projects, you'll see that there's a few projects that eventually will go away, according to David and his talk, which is the WinUI 3 projects and packaging. So it's in development still, right? This is still early on. This is preview 4, and they're getting things working. But as we go through here, we can see that we have an application display title, identifier, version codes over here. We have this thing called a MAUI image, which is the app icon. So we have an SVG for the background app icon and one for the config. So that's like a background color that you have. Also for the splash screen color over here, we have a purple splash screen color. And then images, we include every image in the image folder, every font in the font folder, and then we bring in .NET MAUI. Now, I do want to tell you that also over here, make sure that if you weren't able to restore your NuGet packages when you created that project, you're going to need to add their NuGet config. Now, we had done this via the command line before where we were executing it, but what you need to do in Visual Studio is go into Tools, Options, actually, better yet, Tools, NuGet Package Manager, Package Manager Settings, and then under Package Sources, you're going to see that you can add. You can hit this Add button, add a new one, and then type in that URL, which is aka.ms/maui-preview-index.json. So make sure you do that. That's going to restore that package for you automatically. Now, I do want to show you some other really cool features here. I have a pretty deep dive video that I'm putting out with Maddie on the Xamarin Show, so xamarinshow.com. You can check out all the stuff we do over there officially. But what I love about this is how cool this is. Look at this drop down. It has iOS remote device, simulator, local device, Android device, MAUI app locally. And then here, this is cool. You can select the framework. So right now, I want to target iOS. So it does that. If I toggle this over to Android, now we see that the Android emulator is there. Better yet, what we see is that it has found both of my emulators, right? So this is a way, there's no more drop downs there. If I have a local device, now we see I actually have my Pixel device plugged in. So it actually will put it there. But I get to pick 1 and 2. So there's not a huge crazy drop down. It's like, here are your options and here is the configuration underneath it, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and right now there is a bug, at least in the version that I have, that if you try to debug it on Android, you get a pop-up that it can't debug it. I know the team is working on that, is aware. So you can do start without debugging today, and that will build it up. And while that's compiling, what I want to do is show you that right now there's sort of standard stuff inside of here. So we just have an app XAML, so colors, buttons, labels with dynamic resources. In the code behind here, we have the application. So here we can see that this is MAUI controls application inside of here. We also have, this is cool, the Windows assets. This is nice for Windows. It's setting the assets as the image directory. And then it's going to create a new window instead of just a new page, because everything in MAUI is a window based with pages, very similar to how iPad OS is. So now if I go over into my startup, actually, this is really neat. This is the stuff that we've been talking about, the host builder. It's really official here. We have use MAUI app, which ingests the actual app code. We have configure fonts. So it's going to configure all your fonts in one place, and you can type in a bunch more. So I think inside of here, there's like app config, MAUI handlers, services. There's apparently enable hot reload. I'm not sure why that's off or needs to be on. MAUI handlers, service providers. There's a bunch of stuff in there. And that's where like all of the essential APIs will also plug into as well. The final thing I want to show off is that this main page is actually not that different from what we've seen before. Images here with the .NET bot. We have these new semantic properties for accessibility over here, and then some click handlers as well. So other thing too is that there's a new thing called a vertical stack layout and a horizontal stack layout. I learned about that earlier. And I'm sure that the templates will be updating to that soon. And of course, you should get, looks like you don't get the toolbox just yet. So some of the things are still in progress. All right, well, it said it deployed. It did that pop-up where you saw it said, oh, I can't do anything. And that's what you may experience. But the app is here. So here's that splash screen. And here is the hello world. So click, 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 click. So very cool. So you can continue to click and do everything you want in the application, and you're good to go, which is quite nice. Let's go ahead and see that splash screen one more time here. So if I go again one more time to that, there's that. And also you saw that icon as well. So now we get the full running application right here, counting up. Now, the other thing you can do too is come in and set the WinUI 3 application as the startup. So that's the only thing that's not in the drop down today, is actually the WinUI 3 project. So we can debug the application, and this is going to give us our Windows application locally. Oh, it's really big, so let's go ahead and pop it down here, and then we can see here's our hello bot with our counter on here. We have our application. Now I found some weird things because the hot reload is here and working. So I found a few things with the default templates. So I actually created another project here. And I wanted to kind of show this off, is that I have this MAUI app 1, and I changed it around a little bit. The first thing is I turned off XAML compilation because that was messing with hot reload from what I could see at least. And then I also created a view model here. And for some reason with the hot reload, it seemed like this was the only way for it to sort of work for me, at least at this stage. So here I just put this public int count. And then over here on the main page, I just call this method. For some reason for me, it was having a problem where it wouldn't hot reload if I was changing stuff in the click handler. So your miles may vary there. And then over on my main page, what I did is I just did a normal binding to this count of the string over here. So now if I debug this, here's what I want to show you is that right now in our view model, we're just increasing that count over here, which notifies the UI that has changed. So we can actually like see that running locally first. So we can now get this application running locally. And what we see is obviously we're increasing this count by 1. So if I go ahead and increase that, there it is, increasing by 1. But if I come in now and say plus equals 5 or 6 or something like that, hit this little icon, this apply code changes icon. What this does is it sends a diff or some magical thing over that will apply the code changes as hot reload for the C#. So now if I come back over here, look at that, now it's increasing by 6 every single time. If I want to back that out over here and hit it again, then check this out. Now I'm increasing by 1 again, over and over and over again. So that apply code changes is that hot reload. And that's going to work absolutely everywhere across iOS, Android, Blazor, ASP.NET, everything. So when you watch those videos, you're going to see that all happen, which is really, really cool. So far what we've seen is that we're able to get up and running, use the new single project inside of our application. And then what we're able to do is start building applications really quick with .NET MAUI across Android and iOS and everything that we want. Now, there's a little bit more that I want to show off with just sort of core .NET MAUI, which is the weather application. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this out because I have a cool demo over here that I can walk through. The first thing is let's go ahead and just get rid of that other project and open up the Weather 21 application. It's a really cool application. Like I said, it's really stunning to look at. It's early on, obviously, in sort of the development, but you can see that we have the next 24 hours, daily forecasts that are coming in Redmond. I can go over to my favorited and we see all of the different favorited locations that are out there. There's also a setting screen over here. And I think even a live weather wind map, which is really cool too. So this one is just using some web tech to embed that into the area. But here again, it's just this really nice, stunning look and feel for the user interface. And you get that nice customized UI. But if I come over, and I come over here now, and I open up this project, we'll see that it's a full project, right? We have services and resources and pages. I mean, look at this. I'm going to just zoom in here. There's all of these SVGs inside of here. There's all of these fonts, including Font Awesome. There's different models that are coming inside of here. Mac Catalyst support, like I said, the converters that are inside of here. So all sorts of things inside of this. So this is really starting to look like a full application that you can get up and running and use. Now I'm going to open this up on the Windows over here, and let's see what this looks like now. So again, this is going to have everything I want. And this is one of the wind live widgets, which actually will kind of have this rotation of this needle, this compass needle over here in real time, or in real time. Okay. So here's the weather application. I'm just going to go ahead and adjust it, and we can see that's a nice application. It's clear weather. We can add different cities in here. We're getting a nice look and feel for our tabs, our weather map that's on here. We're getting more look and feel right on the desktop. There's more space, there's more real estate space, and it's automatically adjusting for us, which is really cool. Now, this wind isn't updating at all either. So what you can do, and what David showed is that, or was it Demetrius showed this? Yeah, is that this thing here, right? It actually is just returning 0 for the direction. So what you could do is just call that get direction, hit that hot reload button, and then now it's updating in real time, just like I showed you. So it's more than just simple logic. Like this is calling methods, it's invoking stuff in real time. If I change that back to 0 over here and hit that apply code changes button, then boom, we get it right here. We get the same things that we would expect from earlier. We see all these nice little markups here. So you're really starting to really get this full-fledged application building up over on .NET MAUI. All right, so far what we've seen is that we are able to get up running with .NET MAUI, okay? But there's a little bit more. I talked about .NET MAUI Blazor, which is a way of leveraging Blazor UI with Razor inside of .NET MAUI application. So if you're a Blazor developer today, this should be like everything you've ever wanted, which is taking your Razor, your Blazor Razor, all of your bindings, all that stuff, and bringing it to mobile and desktop. Okay. What's cool about this is that now you can take all that awesome Blazor work that you've been doing for years and then leveraging and putting it into a native desktop app on Windows and Mac. And if you want to, you can optimize it for mobile. You'll get to take advantage of everything inside of .NET MAUI. So if you want those notifications, you want to access native APIs, you want native UI instead of web UI, you can do that. So let's go ahead and create our first .NET MAUI Blazor app. So again, I'm going to create a new project here. And then I'm going to go in, drop down to MAUI, .NET MAUI Blazor app, hit next. MAUI app 3, we'll call it MAUI Blazor app 3, okay? I'm going to hit create. And now we're going to get something a little bit different than before, all right? We are going to get our standard .NET MAUI application. So if we zoom in over here, we can note that it looks exactly the same. And that's really cool because it's using, if I open this up here, the same exact stuff. Like, look, it's a .NET MAUI application. The difference ends up becoming is that this is bringing in some file providers, some components for WebView, for Blazor. If I look over on the right-hand side, we have a dub root folder with our CSS and our HTML. And what do you see here? A main.razor. Check this out. We have some route data that's going to open up a main layout page. We have imports. We have Open Ionic. We have Bootstrap inside of here. We have everything that you would expect. And under shared, check this out. Main layout right here. We have an about page. We have a nav menu. We have a survey bar under pages. Oh my goodness, it's a Blazor application. Like, look at this, fetch data, right? Fetching weather data. We have a counter inside of here. Now, this is all being hosted inside of this main page.xaml. So that means if you wanted to, you can mix and match these pieces of technologies together, right? So here, this is the Blazor view inside of here, but you get to pick whether you want it to be 100%, just Blazor, or if you want it to be more of a hybrid application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select my device again, and let's just go ahead and get this up and running on my simulator or my emulator so we can get it running. And like I said, this works exactly the same across the different platforms. Now, I also want to point out here that this is kind of cool because it also brought in some of your normal stuff, weather forecast here that we've been used to for data. So it's going to be very similar to our Blazor apps of the past. Over here under resources, you're going to see the same thing, fonts, images, splash screens, they're all the same, right? So you get all of that same exact logic there. There's really no difference. You're just combining the two different pieces of technology. The biggest difference here is that we see is in the startup project, we'll see register Blazor MAUI WebView and use Microsoft Extension's service provider. But the rest over here, the fonts, the forms compatibility, those are the same. Over here for some services, we're going to add a singleton in here. We're doing a little bit dependency injection, a little IOC going on here. So you get to use all of those things that you've already known and loved from ASP.NET and Blazor in the past inside of your .NET MAUI Blazor application. So to me, that is really, really, really neat. Okay. And I want to point out that again, there's not that much difference in the code behind. Over here, we can see this is exactly the same. So what's nice here is that you have your Blazor stuff. You can extend it. If you have your .NET MAUI application, want to add in some Blazor stuff, it's really just a few lines of code down there. Let's see what's going on in my output as it's pulling it up over here and finalizing the build and deploy. There we go. Again, you're going to get this pop-up here that it doesn't know how to deploy it, but don't worry, it actually did do it because it's right there. MAUI Blazor. Here we go. And again, now look at this. Hello world. Welcome to our new application. Go into our counter, click, 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 click. In here, fetch data. There's fetching our data. Now, I do want to point out that if I was to go in and come into my main page, is I could come in and I could, of course, do like a stack layout. And then I could come in and put in like a button, right? So I could do like a button here and say text, I am a button. And then you could redeploy and you would get your stack layout, your buttons, your web views, and all those things all together. That should work. I'm pretty sure that's, combining those two different pieces of technologies together in a nice little bundle there. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here is what is next over for .NET MAUI. Well, again, this is preview 4, so some of the things I've been showing off and highlighting are a little bit rough, obviously, because it's a preview. But you can see a lot of evolution and the tooling coming together, which is absolutely delightful. I also want to link to a few upcoming videos that I have, or videos that are already out. I'll put them in the show notes when they release, which is one with Maddie talking about everything from build, and then also one with Alon talking about .NET MAUI Blazor a little bit more in depth, and he'll have a bunch of demos and highlights and things like that too over on Xamarin Show, xamarinshow.com. But to kind of finalize it off, what I want to make sure that you kind of know is if you're over on a Mac, there is no Visual Studio for Mac support yet. So what you've seen earlier in previous videos that I went through where I was doing command line deployment with these commands, .NET build run there. One thing that's really nice is, remember the last video, I couldn't figure out how to select a simulator to actually deploy on. Well, John Dick actually updated this over here when someone asked me on Twitter, and you can go ahead and specify the device UUID or UDID over there from Xcode. So that's nice, and you'd probably just memorize that UUID, and it gives you the command here for the iOS simulator list. So that is really, really nice that you can go up and pick that automatically. For Android, it'll just pick whatever is the default in ADB right now from the command line. But there you have it. That is .NET MAUI Preview 4. I'm probably missing a bunch of really cool things, but make sure you read the blog post that I'll link to in the show notes below. And yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, let me know. Definitely check out all the episodes over on Xamarin Show from .NET Build as well. Let me know how you are liking these sort of hands-on of the previews, walking a little bit more in depth, working through some of the kinks that are in there. It's been fun exploring everything, using MAUI Check and getting everything up to date. I had everything up and running on my machine in just about 10 to 15 minutes, updated Visual Studio, ran a MAUI check, and I was good to go. If you do like this video, hit the thumbs up button down there that likes it and recommends it to other folks over on the YouTubes. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you want more insights in from the world of me, check out my newsletter, newsletter.montemagno.com. Every single week, every Saturday, actually, I put out a new newsletter. It's not too big. You can handle. It's like reading. It's like having a cup of coffee with me, basically. We're just chatting about tech development, share some fancy photos that I took that week or a few weeks previous, or just kind of on my Google Photos. A lot of people are enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. But that's going to do it for this week, this video, and this .NET MAUI preview. So until next time, thanks for watching.